Hi everybody, it's Lauren Brown, also known as Raggedyroyal on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and now YouTube. And today we are going to be doing this rhinestone half cut crease. Yes, it is a half cut crease eyeshadow look with rhinestones hand placed along the lid. It looks super difficult. It's much simpler than that, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Also, before we start, I want to show you that you can do this in so many different colors because I do it in so many different colors. It's a tradition that I do it every single time I change my hair color. So yes, don't think that you just have to do it in the same color that I'm doing it today, brown and silver. The options are limitless, okay? And yes, thank you so much for coming to watch. If you get some time in between steps, throw this video a like and subscribe, and we're gonna get right into the tutorial. Alrighty, so I'm starting with my base done and my eyes primed. Like I always say, do your eyes before you do your base, simply because if there's any fallout, you can just wipe it off without messing up your entire face. But I did my base first because I'm filming and it just makes it way easier to film. But go ahead and check out my foundation base routine if you want to know how I did my base. I think my base looks amazing today. Alrighty, my eyes are already primed with the Anastasia eye primer, and we are going to be doing a brown half cut crease and silver rhinestones. However, if you want to use this tutorial to do any color, you can just do the correlating color. So if I'm using a light brown, you want to use a light whatever color you're using, medium brown, medium whatever color you're using, dark brown, dark whatever color you're using. Same thing, same steps. So I'm going to be using the JACLYN Hill palette today, one of my favorite palettes for neutrals. And the way that this rhinestone look is going to start off is a half cut crease. You can also do a full cut crease if you would like, but we're doing a half cut crease today. And so I'm going to go into a light brown. My palette is so beat up because I was doing faux freckles, and when you press the sponge in here, it breaks it all up. But I'm going to go into shade Pooter and this shade here. Basically, I'm going into a light brown. Okay, I can't even see the shade. I can't even see the shade names. And so I'm going to be taking this on this Beige Cosmetics brush that's really big and fluffy, and we are going to blend onto the crease. The only thing about when your eyeshadows get so like beat up like that is that they make a lot of fallout. Woo! This is why you do your eyes before your face. But like always, if you do your face first, I'll show you how to clean it up if we have any fallout at the end. Hopefully we don't though. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to blend into the crease. I'm actually going to take it up some and go all the way to the brow bone, because I'm already knowing where I'm going with this. I'm always going to end up at the brow bone, and I know I have some more colors to add because we want to make sure that we have a really deep crease. So when we cut the crease, like always with cut creases, but especially in this cut crease, we want to make sure that we have a stark contrast so that the rhinestones really have their own time to shine. So I know I'm going to be adding a bunch of browns. So in order to, you know, make sure I have the space for that, I'm going to blend all the way to the brow bone. Fun fact, brown is actually my least favorite color of eyeshadow to blend. I feel like pinks are really hard too, but browns are just so hard to blend and not look patchy and get even all over. So hard. What is y'all favorite and least favorite shade of eyeshadow to use and blend? My favorite might be reds and oranges. As far as like easy to blend, not a lot of drama. Reds and oranges are always, like if there's an orange in a palette, it's always going to be nice. Yeah, that might be my favorite. Blue also I really have no issues with in terms of blending, but brown, whew. All right, so I'm feeling very satisfied with how this color is coming out and how we blended it. I'm going to go into our next shade. So I'm going to take this Morphe M573, which looks like this. Now, when I am blending on my eye, as you'll see, the brushes are getting thinner and thinner. They're not really getting thinner, but what's happening is the brush bristles are more densely packed. So the brush bristles are packed together, which is making, for layman's terms, a skinnier and skinnier brush. So as we go down the eye and closer to the crease, we're going to be using skinnier and skinnier brushes. There's your fun fact right there. If you ever want to know what brush to use where, that's a pretty good indicator when it comes to blending brushes. So now I'm going into shade Buns, which is this medium brown, a little bit of mocha, which I also use for my freckles. Look at this palette. I take it everywhere. Also just came back from LA. I take it everywhere. I'm going to be taking this Morphe M573 and we're going to go right into the crease like we just did and blend all the way across the eye. the blending for a half cut crease and a halo eye, which are two eyeshadow looks that I've done on my page recently, actually, that I've done before. Those two looks start out the same way, so a lot of the steps are the same starting out. It's just what you put on the lid. So when it comes to a half cut crease, you're gonna put, you know, rhinestones on the lid, or matte color or shimmer on the lid. When it comes to a halo eye, you're gonna put all those things on the lid, but just in a different placement. But the beginning steps are the same. So you're gonna blend, you know, across the crease, all the way over, and then once you cut the crease, it kind of becomes its own eye. I feel like if you can do a half cut crease, you can pretty much do so many different eyeshadow looks. I always say to people, and I'm gonna go back into my light browns to blend the shade that we just added out. I always say to people when they're trying to say like, oh my gosh, I want to, you know, just try out makeup, and I want to learn makeup, and I want to learn how to do different looks. First thing you need to do is just try one look, master it, and change the colors. Okay? So if you watched my other baby pink half cut crease tutorial, this is the same, it's the same thing. It's just we're going to switch what goes on the lid. But if you just keep switching the colors and switching what goes on the lid, you do a matte one or a shimmer one or a rhinestone one, or you do different things on it, it's gonna look like different looks, but it's just the same look. Find one look that you like, master it, and switch the colorways. There's your hack. I'm just going back in and blending those two shades that we just blended, making sure that it's evenly blended on both sides. Browns are so tricky sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to take this Morphe M456, which is a denser brush, and we are going to go into these dark shades at the bottom. So I'm going to go into shades Central Park and shade Soda Prop. There's going to be somebody, and they probably already commented this, that's very mad about how my palette looks. But, hey man, that means I use it. That means I use it. I'm pumping out so many looks a day. I've had this palette for years. I'm an artist. All right, we're going to take this and go right into the crease underneath where we just blended the last shade, and we're gonna go all the way across the crease. We're using small circle motions. Really, I don't know if it's small circle motions as much as it is back and forth motions. I feel like I use back and forth motions more just to make way across. The lid. And I'm gonna do it on the other eye. I actually had a rhinestone tutorial up already. It was in like 2021. I had purple hair and I was doing a purple rhinestone cut crease, but the audio on that video was horrible and it was also demonetized. So I feel much more confident in the way I explain things now. And that's really my goal, is to like make sure that people can actually learn. It's like the best quality as possible, you know. Galatians 3:23, as unto God. Yeah. Doing stuff as unto God. That's actually my verse for the year. So we're here and we're redoing it, and I feel like this is gonna be much better. You already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna blend. After every step, we blend. Because when you add so many shades and so many colors and so many brushes and things like that, things can get lost in translation. That's what blending is for. So I'm going to blend the last shade out and then just blend overall. Very pleased. Now we're gonna find a brush to cut the crease. Alrighty, so I'm going to take this brush. This is a 2 brush from Royal in Langnickel. It's from the craft store. And I'm going to take my ABH primer, which I put on the back of my hands, just because it's easier to disperse this way. I wouldn't want to squeeze the tube right onto this little brush. It's going to create a mess. You're going to lose some product. Put everything on the back of your hand just for easier distribution. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the crease. Now, this is a scary step for my beginners, and I'm not exactly sure why. We're going to take the anxiety out of it right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at the inner corner. Where is your inner corner? Where your tear duct is. This is your inner corner. This is your outer corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to start here and swipe along the crease. One swipe. Quick. One swipe. All right. Now what we're going to do is we don't want to move our eyes too much while the primer is still right there in that first swipe, because it's not spread out. We want to make sure that we spread it out so that it does not get stuck in that crease and become a mess, because your crease is where your eye folds, right? So if your eye is opening and closing with a liquid product on top of it, you can imagine the horror. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit more primer and we're just going to fill in the lid. And that's it. But take it all the way. Now, where's your crease? Your crease is when you look up, that little fold on your eyes. If your crease does not look like mine, creases come in a lot of different shapes, sizes, things of that nature. What you're going to do is you're going to go halfway from your brow to your lash line. Where's your lash line? Where your lashes are, the bottom of your lid. So that is a good place to figure out where your crease is or where to place your crease. If you're just like, I keep opening my eye and I can't figure it out. Halfway. Same thing, all right? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it on the other side. And I like to go quickly because I feel like when you go slowly, first of all, it doesn't really change in the terms of accuracy. And also, it's a waste of time, okay? It's a waste of time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing on this side. One swipe. Drag the product down. All right, now, as you can see, these are not even. They're never even. This one is always smaller than this one. They're never even when I cut them the first time. Well, rarely even. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more, and we're going to go do the same step. Right on top of where we had it before. Okay, it's looking kind of even. I'm going to open it a little bit more near the tear duct. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we're doing a rhinestone look. And I want more space on the lid. So I'm going back in with the primer. And I'm just going to raise it a little bit more towards the inner corner of the eye. Because what you don't want is a rhinestone right down here on the tear duct. It's painful. Feeling good. Alrighty, so the rhinestones I'm going to be using today, I am going to be using silver rhinestones. They're from Amazon. I'm going to link my Amazon storefront and specifically these rhinestones down below. I used to get my rhinestones all from the craft store, but this is much more reliable. I don't know why y'all didn't tell me about this beforehand. When I figured out that people were buying these in bulk and not like spending $10, $20 on a pack at the craft store, talk about gatekeeping. That's satirical. I actually don't like the term gatekeeping for like things. Anyways, that's not what this is about. Yeah. Now, as you can see, I have them in all the colors. Like I said, I've done this in all the colors. But today, I think I'm going to go with the just plain Jane silver ones. But before we do that, we're going to need to put our base down on the lid. I do not like to glue rhinestones onto, first of all, just primer, because that's just a slippery, slidey mess. Second of all, because the rhinestones are not going to be exactly right next to each other because they're circles, and that's not how space works. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be blank spaces, but we want to make sure that we put something down underneath so that you can't see the blank spaces. So if I'm doing a light pink cut crease with light pink rhinestones, we'll do a light pink base. Today we're going silver, so I'm going to get a silver eyeshadow to put on the lid. Okay, so this is the Lip Bar liquid eyeshadow, and this is in shade Ice Princess. The Lip Bar is black owned. Happy Black History Month. Hopefully this week I'm going to have some black owned makeup, full faces. So I'm really excited about that. Stay on the lookout for that. But I'm going to put that on the back of my hand as well because it's a liquid product and it's just easier to distribute that way. And I need a flat brush. I'm going to take this flat brush that actually does not have a name or a brand. And I'm going to go in and just pat that along the lid. I need a brush that's a little bit more stiff because I feel like this brush was kind of like soaking up the product. This is a ColourPop E3. I put it in the back of my hand. Turn to the left, turn to the right. That's how you get the most. Because if you put it on the back of your hand and you swipe, like you're just wasting you're wasting product. Put it back of your hand, turn to the left, turn to the right. Holla. There you go. All right. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to do the same thing I was just doing with the last brush, but I feel like this brush will be better suited for this step. And you want to make sure that you are being very careful about that crease. You don't want to go above it. Of course, we can fix it by using a little bit of dark eyeshadow and a small brush. We could just go back and fix it. But it's best to just not make the mistake in the first place. You know what I mean? I told y'all it's crazy in DC right now. Sirens and wind and all stuff in the background. Welcome to my hometown. We're going on the other eye. I'm going to take this ColourPop L1, which is a way smaller brush. I'm going to go right in near the crease. Since this eyeshadow is a liquid eyeshadow, I want to go in with something smaller to get that little bit of area. With the matte eyeshadows, I can usually just use one brush. But I did not factor in texture. Rookie move. Alrighty. We're ready for the next step. We're ready for the next step. We're gonna take eyelash glue. That is how we're going to apply these rhinestones. And this is the Kiss Strip Lash adhesive. This is the Kiss Strip Lash adhesive. It is clear. It's with aloe, and I prefer a lash glue that I can swipe on. That's for applying lashes and also for this. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go one eye by one eye. Okay, we're gonna do one section on one eye, then one section on the other eye. We're not gonna apply glue on both eyes at the same time. Why? Because glue dries and you're just gonna get one eye stuck open while you're applying the rhinestones in the other eye. Okay, so I'm gonna take the eyelash glue and I'm gonna start with the inner corner, and I'm just going to apply it about, what's that, about a third of the way. You don't want to apply too much glue across the eye because you're not ready to put the rhinestones down there. And what's gonna happen is your eye's just gonna stick to itself, and you don't want that. Rhinestones, tweezers. These rhinestones specifically come with bent tweezers. I prefer bent tweezers for this, but I cannot find my bent tweezers anywhere. So we're gonna use our normal tweezers, which is usually what people have, so that's all good. If you have different size rhinestones, you wanna put the smaller rhinestones in towards the inner corner, and then the bigger rhinestones out as you go towards the outside of your lid. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this size. This is 1, 2, 3. Oh, it has numbers on it. Size 4. Take our first rhinestone on the tweezer, and we are going to apply it there. All right, I like to apply it up towards the crease first because those are spaces that need to be filled in. As we go down towards the lash line, we kind of get away with like placement, but up towards the crease we cannot. All right, so after that first one's laid down, guess what we're gonna do? going with the second one. I will say, the most frustrating part about this is making sure you get the rhinestone, pick it up, the flat back towards you, and the rhinestone outwards, because it's just kind of hard to pick up sometimes. I'm gonna place one right next to it. Boom, we got two. You're gonna keep going like this. You wanna make sure that you do not apply lash glue down near your lash line, because we are going to put on lashes. You don't want to put any rhinestones too low down here, because putting lashes on top of rhinestones, kind of like putting lashes on top of gloss, which I showed y'all my glossy eye. I told y'all about putting lashes on top of anything except for like shadow and skin, hard. So just ignore down where the lash is going to be. Just imagine you already have a lash on. If you need to add a lash so that you don't go in that space, that may be good for you too. And I'm just going to keep applying them. I want to go rather quickly because I don't want the glue to dry. If the glue dries, we just apply more glue, but like, you know, who wants to really do that if they don't have to? And now I'm kind of going into my second line. Now I'm still using the small size. Okay, if the lash is not where you want it to be, quickly remove it. Because it might not seem like a big deal then, but when you apply the other lashes and one's like in a crooked space and yeah, if it feels wrong, remove it quickly. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more lash glue. And I'm going out to about halfway. Now, as far as this corner right here where there is still space where you see the primer, we're gonna get to that. And I'm going up across the crease. A good tip to do is go on the other eye, especially if you feel like you don't know if you have enough rhinestones. This is a good time to switch to your other eye. I don't have enough rhinestones because I'm only doing one color, one shade today. So I'm going to just keep going in on this eye just to show y'all and then do the other eye off camera. But if you are trying to figure out the numbers and the math, go one eye at a time, because say for example you run out of rhinestones but you have the same amount on both eyes, you're just going to blend in with some eyeshadow and you're all good, because as long as the eyes match, that's cool. But if you feel like, you know what, I have a gazillion trillion, I'm doing all silver like me today, you can do one eye and then the other eye. It's a preference. If you apply too much pressure on the tweezer when you have the rhinestone in your hand, if you apply too much pressure, it's just going to squeeze it and it's going to go flying. You have rhinestones all over your floor. Okay, I'm going to go right back in towards the inner corner. Rhinestones right there. And about here, I feel like it's time to start using the bigger rhinestones. So I'm going to close number 4 for a second and go to number 3. And I'm going to go in with the 5 and go here. I like to use the bigger rhinestones, one towards the outer corner, but also lower than the crease. I like to do the smaller rhinestones up towards the crease and they go bigger as I go down. Okay, that one is not sticking, which means that we need to add more glue. We'll go about right to the halfway point. Well, this is not the halfway point. About the halfway point. Up here near the crease. A little bit of space right here. That's why we add the silver eyeshadow beforehand, because there's nothing I can do about that. There's not one that's like gonna be small enough to go right here, but there's a little bit of space. That's why we do that. Like, this is so Hollywood, so elegant, so starlit, so love it so much. You know, I think that's good. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna handle this outer corner with our M456 from earlier with the dark brown on it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just blend inwards. We're gonna blend inwards. I'm gonna take a flat brush. I'm just gonna use the same one I used with the silver eyeshadow. This is an E3. And I'm going to go into the medium brown and a little bit of light brown. And we're gonna just put that right there. Right there. And then a little bit of the light brown as well. And basically we're just creating an ombre. So we're gonna do light brown, most towards the rhinestones, the medium brown, and then the dark brown. And you see this eye compared to this eye with the space out here, that's gonna blend it in. As you can see, there's a little bit of space right here that I feel like needs some attention. By attention, I mean rhinestones. Also, you can see now that I'm talking and looking at the camera, this eye is heavier than this eye. Your eyes will be heavy. And yeah, when I be taking pictures sometimes, I'm like, wow, this is not the same. This is not the same as usual. And it isn't. So, if that's gonna bother you, here's your warning. Here's what the eye is gonna look like. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rhinestones on this eye, and then we're gonna do waterline, lower lash line, lashes, and we'll get out of here. Alrighty, so now there are rhinestones on both of my eyes. I'm gonna go in with the white waterline. So I stay here for about 5 minutes. Like, do I want to do a white waterline or a black waterline? Black waterline is gonna make it look more severe. However, since these rhinestones are so heavy, I'm gonna do a white waterline because I need to open up my eyes in any way that I can, because my eyes are more closed now because of the weight on my lids. So I'm gonna be taking my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, per usual, craft brush, dipping it in. I know you can sharpen it. I didn't learn I could sharpen it until I was about 4 or 5 years into using the product. It is what it is. I'm going to go into the waterline. I'm going to go adjacent to the eye. Not perpendicular. Perpendicular will be sticking it right in the eye. We don't want to do that. Oh yeah. I'm going to be taking this Morphe M166, which is just this flat brush. It's a little bit chubbier. And I'm going to go into the lightest brown that we've used today. And I'm going to go right in underneath the eye into our lower lash line. And I'm going to take our blending brush from before and blend that out a little bit. I'm going to blend it out over here as well, just so that there's not a harsh end where the eyeshadow ends. And we need to figure out what we're going to do for the inner corner. I think I'm going to go white. So I'm going to be grabbing my Stone Cold Fox palette. And this is my favorite white shadow of all time, shade Dreamful. And I'm going to use a ColourPop E28 brush, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lightly... I'm really going underneath the eye. So you see, like, this is where the tear duct is. I'm going on the underneath side. And why am I doing that? I don't want to cover the rhinestones because it's just going to make it look ashy. So I'm just going to put the white right there. Before I put mascara on, I'm going to spray some setting spray. This is the Dewy set. You want to do that before you put on mascara, because if you put it on after mascara, it may run and it may make a mess on your face. Now I'm just going to add some mascara. So I put the lashes right on top, and there was really no issue. As you can see, there is some space between where the lash line is, where the lash is, and where the rhinestones are. That is very important. If you run into the end of this tutorial and you say, oh my goodness, I have rhinestones right there, just take them off. Just take them off. If you're trying to take them off one by one, you're going to take your tweezer and just slightly pull it off, and it should come off with no issue. Here is the final look. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like down below if you learned anything. Let me know if you learned any cool tips, tricks, and things, and what you want to see next. It can be makeup related. It can be influencer related. I haven't made any influencer insider videos about like my actual job, answering y'all questions in a long time. So let me know down below. Hair related, running related. I do so many things on here now. We share so many things. So let me know down below. Make sure that you are subscribed and check out my other playlists that will show up on the screen in a second, including my foundation routine. So if you want to see, I did my base before I did my eyes, and all the other Valentine's Day looks. All of my brushes are pink because of our great Valentine's Day run. Thank you so much for all of your support on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, and on YouTube, and especially YouTube Shorts for all my Valentine's Day looks. Y'all know I love Valentine's Day. It's my favorite holiday. So thank you for all the support there. But because of all those looks, all of these brushes are pink. And eyeshadow looks that I just posted recently. Check those out. I'm also now a shorts girl. So if you want to see more of me, check out my shorts and community tabs. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all at Raggedyroyal. And if you tried this look, recreations never get old. I want to see them. DM me on my other socials, post them, tag me. However, I want to see, you know, that things are making sense and that my explanations are making sense and impacting others. Yes. And yeah, if you want to see any of more of my day-to-day life, check out my other socials, including TikTok, where I post a bucket list series where I try all different foods, activities, cuisines. It's really fun. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Let me know down below what you want to see next. Bye. Thank you so much for watching.